Hi again. Let's talk about Howler 2020 and some features that are coming. Um, Now, for a long time, Howler's had the ability to make brushes of any size, but there's always been this legacy set of brushes that are hard coded in the program that were kind of from the early days. And we're basically phasing that out now. We've eliminated all the hard coded media inside the program, and you still have access to them if you want to use them, but we basically superseded them now with a new brush system. Much larger brushes, more flexible, and as you can see, you can pick images from here. You have the ability to create a animated brush, a brush with more than one frame here, much more easily just by selecting the media you want and adding it. So that's one thing that's coming. We'll have some gradually some additional brush sets in there, that sort of thing as well. That's sort of what we're doing with this one. We're phasing out the old media, and another phase here of this was getting rid of the hard-coded media that was in this drop-down. And this now properly shows the entire hierarchy of the media folder, and you have basically quick access to these now through a drop-down menu. Which is a much broader selection of media than you had before under that menu. It's kind of convenient because you can browse all these at the same time. So those are a few changes coming. Let me talk about a few more things while we're here. We've also overhauled the paper panel to give finer control over paper. Now, before, bumpiness and dry brush were basically the same control, and it wasn't very good. So we separated those two into another into separate controls, and we've also added an ability to save the particular paper texture with your media, because before it was kind of agnostic of the media, and when you loaded that, it would load with whatever paper you had loaded, but each paper has its own characteristics, and you want to be able to save that paper sometimes with the media that you've created. So that can be very useful. As you can see now, we have independent control of the dry brush effect and the bumpiness. So you can make this very bumpy and or slightly bumpy but more dry brush, and you can see the type of effect we get there. So those are a few changes coming. Let me talk briefly now about storing images, because that's something we've also completely overhauled. I'll just load in a image quickly, and now something I've noticed is users were creating a lot of stored images, not just one or two, and there'd be these iconified images all over the place on the screen, and it got kind of messy. So I finally decided that we really needed to organize this somehow. So now we've got a nice dock on the side. It's not there when you don't have anything stored, and when you do store it, it's here. You can move it to either side of the screen wherever you want it. And that sort of thing. We have multiple ways of bringing images into this dock, by the way. I'll go ahead and browse, and we'll see what we can do with that. There's, let's see, a little store button right there, and as you can see, it stores these images over here on the side, and it just keeps adding them. And when it hits the bottom, it will let you scroll, of course. So that is basically the same thing we've had before, except for now it's organized in a nice category view. You can scroll around in it. You have all these same options you had before. You can use it as a color picker. We can come down here and pick this like it were a palette or something like that. And then there's, of course, the compositing options. We can bring this, we can replace the current image, we can combine it with the current image using different combine modes, layer modes. We can find the independent red, green, and blue channels, or HSV or YUV channels. We could use it as a brush like that, or and I was talking about before, we could have any size brush. Well, you can really use an entire image as a brush if you want to. And that is just one of the changes coming here, that dock there. And As I said before, you can manage these. You can close them if you want. You can close all of your stored images at one time now, which is very nice. And there's one other thing I want to talk about while we're here, and that is under color. Just a little nice feature here. Map to gradient now. Before it would just map to the current gradient, and now you can interactively adjust your image or map an image to a gradient interactively now. So that's just one more little feature that's coming. Hope that's a good recap of 2020 coming pretty soon. That's about all I got to say for now. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later.